tinfoil hat. Oh, what the fuck are you guys even talking about?
Global controls will have to be imposed, and a world governing body will be created to enforce them.
Welcome to Tinfoil Hat. We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Are you ready to get your mind blown?
Yeah, man. I think it's an important time. It's an interesting time that we live in right now, right? I mean, are we winning? I feel like we're winning. I'm cautiously optimistic that we're winning. I feel like there's more knowledge than ever out there. What are your guys' thoughts? You know, you guys are OGs of this whole thing. What are your guys' thoughts? Do you think that we're in a time where humanity might be winning a little bit?
Are you talking to Will and I, or
yeah?
Well, you know, I will say that from my personal opinion, humble opinion, and being an observer of history, back, you know, I don't know, thousands of years, research, whatever we can find that is the truth, I would say that the war is just basically revving up again, right? I mean, it's just. You know, look behind the curtain. I think a lot of people are looking behind the curtain and realizing that they might have been fed a lot of mistruths, right? So,
and do you feel like a lot of those mistruths are being illuminated right now?
I think that is the nature of the division, because there's a certain amount of the population that, through their eyes and their perspective, see it one way, and then there's a lot of other people that see it another, and varying dimensions of all of that, right? To different levels and, like I say, degrees. Some of us see the full Monty, some of us don't see any of it.
Yeah, some of us see none of it, and I live with those people daily. I have to pick my battles. Dr. Will, your thoughts on it? Do you think as we come in to this new administration, is there any part of you that thinks, or just this new time of enlightenment, that maybe people are starting to wake up to what people have been, you know, in the conspiracy community have been talking about forever?
Well, they're definitely waking up to something. I don't think it's the truth, because when you have announcements of $500 billion going into a project that basically connects everybody into the internet, making them nodes in the Internet of Things, I have a problem with that, really a big problem. Which is that topic alone kind of sheds a light on the duality or the multi-layers of truth. And I don't think people really are at the bottom of the truth. They're up here at the top of the truth, being fed things that necessarily are not equal to what's the deep truths.
Are we making any advances towards the deep truth, or do you think we're just lambs to slaughter? Which is fine. I mean, I'm open-minded to whatever you guys think it is. You know, when we have this USA AIDS stuff coming out, that seems to be a little step in, like, okay, maybe we're seeing we're putting light on the cockroaches.
I think there's going to be the low-hanging fruit are going to get thrown to the wolves. I mean, that's the way this always goes, right? They'll sacrifice numerous people that went along with them, and you know, I would guess the way, at least from my personal perspective, Sam, is that the entities that have always run this planet, bloodlines, whatever you want to call them, have zero respect for those who kowtow and have no bravery in their actions, no pushback. I think, to be honest with you, those that push back, they respect the most. They might not like us. They might dislike us a great deal, but at least they respect those of us who can see through the bullshit and are smart enough to recognize when things are awry, you know. So as they feed what they say is the truth, go through that with a fine-tooth comb, And you'll find, I think, that there's a lot of misdirection, even within the so-called truth, right? It's just the nature of the game.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree that there's layers and layers and layers, and how deep do you want to go? And I think it always leads to God and this war that these fallen angels have waged against God's greatest creation. That's my humble opinion. There's a lot of people who think this is all part of a plan. I'm still trying to figure that out as I go deeper into this journey. It's definitely a spiritual war we're in, and some people don't understand that. There's so many layers to this. There's so many layers to the psyop. I like to think that people are waking up to it. I do believe if you don't consider yourself a conspiracy theorist at this moment, you're a little bit of a crazy person. But there are people who love to have their heads still shoved up their asses. The conspiracy world to me is way more interesting. If we could actually just fund somehow a conspiracy news, I think people would tune into that way more than they would tune into Fox or.
I think think about it. The American people are tuning into podcasts like this. When you assemble that, far more than NBC or Fox News or CNN or any of it. I mean, the podcast that Jeffrey and I were doing before, we hit top 50 in the world for a while there. After it was right after COVID started, actually, and hit top 50 in the world, and then we had just walked away. Both of us, we just walked away. But we were beating all CNN radio shows, almost every Fox show, like literally all of the network radio shows. We had way more listeners than all of them. We blew past all of them. So I think that people are yearning for the truth, right? And so that's just the way I see it. I think people they realize they've been lied to. I mean, think about just in the health category. The increase, the trajectory of illnesses, cancers, everything else is rocketing out of control. And that's exactly the same trajectory as toxins being dumped into the environment, whether it's ag chemicals, manufacturing, all the food processing chemicals, everything else that's gone on. And those are literally, those lines follow each other all the way straight to the, attic, so to speak. So people are fed up with it, right? People are just saying, you know what? We just don't have answers, though. We don't have solutions, a lot of them. They know there's bullshit going on, but they don't have solutions yet, or are searching, right? And they don't know who to believe.
Do you think, well, even though cable is dying, do you think there could be a red pill network somehow? Put some money behind it, where it's like at least podcasts on TV?
I think if you do that, you allow them to control. I think the more decentralized it is, the better. Yeah.
Well, it's like Stu Peters is on a network here in the Midwest. I was just surfing through channels, and I come across Stu Peters, and I'm like, whoa, holy shit.
That is a crazy one. That is a crazy one.
I want to know who signed on that. That'd be great. Good for wherever you are, and good for them to put him out.
And the thing is he was going off the entire time on Jewish people, and I was like, how is this on TV? I have no idea. I have no idea how this got on TV.
It is kind of crazy. What are your thoughts, Dr. Will?
It's not what you know, it's who you know. That's how we got on TV.
Oh, snaps, dude. Yeah, it is interesting. Guys, we are live from the Wise Wolf Gold and Silver Studios. That's right. Go to samtripoli.gold, use the promo code tinfoil, and you can get into the Precious Metals game for as little as $50 a month. We thank them for sponsoring this show. We're with two amazing people. One of these people is a BFF of mine. Okay, I'm blessed to call him a friend. I love him very much. He is the organic super soldier, Pat Miletich, and he's brought his friend. They're working together on saving the soil. Dr. Will Spencer. Guys, thanks for joining us. I just wanted to give you a moment to talk about anything that you guys are working on or promoting, where our fans can find you.
Yeah, so Will, you want to give them your Rumble channel, and then we can talk about Mineral King briefly, just break that down for everybody.
Yep, sure. I have a Rumble channel. It's called Doc Will Spencer channel on rumble.com. That's the main place to find our stuff. A lot of my stuff is on there. And then since Pat and I teamed up, I've been putting our interviews and things on there as well.
So that's on Rumble. Links below. I'll make sure all the links are below in the description.
Yeah, and then people can go to mineralking.life. That's just three components right now. That is fulvic acid, which is the most nutrient-rich, bioavailable, water-soluble fulvic acid on the planet. It's like the granddaddy of all shilajits. Let's put it that way. But it has no taste. It's not tarry or nasty. It's very water soluble, and you can drink that. Assist your body in removing heavy metals at a very fast rate. Synthetics, and then 100 plus is the 100 plus is the probiotic solution of over 125 soil-borne microbes that love to ingest heavy metals and synthetics and regulate your body's operations and balances of bacteria, things like that, keep things from getting out of control. And Will can elaborate on that. And then also the methylene blue, which is a unique blend of very high-grade methylene blue with a unique carrier, a natural carrier, by the way, to get that into the brain and nervous system cells. And the methylene blue is what Will treated me with well over a year ago. I've been sober now almost 17 months, and I suffered from depression and anxiety for many years. And Doc Will is the one that treated me with methylene blue and a few other things in a protocol. And my anxiety and depression was gone in like 7 to 10 days. So Will's done a great deal of good for me. I can assure you. And he knows his stuff. I've talked to a lot of homeopathic doctors out there and ag experts, and I've not met another Will Spencer yet. Let's put it that way.
Oh, don't forget that methylene blue is in capsule form, so you don't have to run around with blue face or spill on your countertop or on your nice pretty blouse and stuff. It's in a capsule.
Yeah. So Will, I was just going to say, Will can break down kind of what I was dealing with the brain parasites and stuff like that, and explain why that methylene blue works so quickly.
Oh yeah. And on top of that, we were also doing red laser treatments as well, and which with the methylene blue, the laser treatments, they just amp up everything, make it better. So just calm. Well, the biggest thing I noticed right away dealing with Pat was he calmed down right away. Fortunately, we had the good fortune of spending 6 weeks. Were we together traveling? And so he got basically daily treatments while he was there. It was kind of convenient. I just kept him in the camper. He wouldn't let him go until he followed directions.
No, but it's a life-changing thing it was definitely a life-changing thing for me, Sam. And, I would say that, from my research, because I was always a cell, mitochondria, gut health guy. I was never an expert on nervous system function besides destroying nervous systems, and Will obviously educated me on that, but I did a lot more research after because the treatment was so effective, and figuring out through research that almost all mental issues, anxiety, depression, bipolar, on and on and on, and seizure related illnesses with the brain are all caused, almost every single one of them are caused by microscopic brain parasites. And I had no idea. I thought, well, I got hit in the head a lot and things just aren't working right, but that wasn't the case at all.
Well, when you get hit in the head a lot, you get a lot of damaged tissue, and those infections, they build up and break down that damaged tissue, and then they get, when your immune system isn't working right, they get stuck in your brain, and so it's really hard to get them out. And that's where the methylene blue comes in handy, along with those other two products. They do a lot of different things. So you're feeding the body good things to repair cells with, and then you're getting rid of the infections as well. And then Pat had the opportunity to do the red light treatment as well. And we have a fairly sophisticated laser system that took care of you put them on the brain, on the head and the spine and different parts of the body, and it just revs energy into those areas for massive fast healing.
I want to talk so much about this. Again, my daughter is autistic. I'm dealing with that, and I just did a show in Spokane. A woman came up to me and she's like, "My daughter used to be autistic. She's not. She's still on the spectrum, but the things she used to do, like hitting herself, all that, done." I go, "How did that happen?" She goes, "I detoxed her." And when I hear about you guys talking about detoxing, which one of those were you talking about? Which one of your supplements?
Well, the fulvic humic will bind with and pull toxins out, but it's also replacing those with really high grade nutrients, the fulvic humic acid, fulvic humic complex there. And
that one, the third one.
Yeah, so humic acids, fulvic humics are really good at chelating toxins out, but this one is the most nutrient-rich fulvic humic acid literally found on the planet. I mean, that's it. And it's very bioavailable, which means your body can actually use the nutrients in it. They're in a form that are very usable. Fulvic humic acids are also well known for raising oxygen levels within the cells a great deal, and feeding the mitochondria, which are the furnace of the cell, to generate cellular energy. And there's numerous endurance athletes, combat athletes, marathoners, swimmers, and ultra runners who have crushed all their PRs with that protocol. So, and then the 100+, Will can explain those probiotics, because they're not GMO and they're not weaponized, is what we call genetically modified microorganisms. Those are the real deal. Those are they're naturally they're collected naturally from around the planet, and they're naturally occurring. They're non-modified, and then we grow them in special conditions, and there's 125 different strains, all soil organisms, naturally occurring. And so then when you put them in your body, they help break down your food better with digestion. They help with metabolism. They help with also breaking down plastics and heavy metals and pesticide residues and all that, and converting it into essential fatty acids, which is actually a benefit for you, right? So it's not just detoxing with this. You're actually feeding the body. And because the body, I've done over 25,000 scans now on people on 5 continents, and every single person is malnutritioned, some of them beyond belief. And so your body is sucking in the metals so easily because you're missing the colloid forms and the salt forms of minerals that you need. So it's sucking in the metals, trying to stay alive. And so just detoxing without putting nutrition in is kind of dangerous. And I've seen a lot of people actually have strokes and all kinds of other problems on themselves because they're not feeding the body. They're not putting in the body the minerals that the cells need. And when you do that, it just freely, the body just gives up the metal so easy when you put the nutrition in. But when you don't supplement while you're detoxing, it's kind of pointless, because your body will just suck it in from the environment, because our environments are so toxic. And so you got to feed the body in order to detox the body. You just can't detox all by itself. And so this what's in that kit is really important, because it will displace the metals and a lot of the petrochemicals cellularly, just because we're putting nutrition in, and the body will then give up the crap.
I love it, man. I would love to do an affiliate thing with you guys, put you on the website, and we can promote you every show at the end of the show if that's something you guys are interested in.
I thought we had that set up, Sam, so that's my bad. So get that done right away.
We were trying, and it just never happened. We were like, it just didn't happen.
I think we can do that. I think we can do that, can't we, Pat?
Yeah, we'll get it figured out. We'll set it out. But so of all the massive amount of amazing testimonials of people's different forms of inflammation, we'll just call it, right? And the symptoms of such, subsiding really, really well. I got to tell you guys about Billy Bond's testimony Will's gonna laugh right away because he knows what it is. Billy Bond, the pimp of permaculture out of Western North Carolina. I was on his podcast, I don't know, a month ago or whatever. And he'd been on that protocol, the regeneration kit, those 3 products for 1 month, 30 days exactly that day. And he goes, brother, my wife's freaking out. And I go, why is that, Billy? And he goes, brother, I've been on you and Will's protocol for 30 days. And he goes, I'm doing more on a 6-foot bed than a monkey on a 60-foot vine. And I go, well, things are operating correctly. That's good to hear, buddy.
That's great to hear.
So this is the kit you guys are talking about? This is the kit?
Yeah, correct.
I love it. So obviously we're fighting demons, right? And they're feeding us toxins. You know, I really feel for the American people because they're constantly getting gaslit that they're the laziest people ever. They just don't have any work ethic. And it seems like they're having to work more than ever for the same amount of paycheck that their mothers and fathers and their grandparents did. They have to work more than ever. My girl, I have twin daughters, and my girlfriend always says, how did her mother take care of 4 kids? And I go, well, your mother lived around a bunch of people that were all family. Everybody helped together. The dad only worked 1 job, came home, was able to pay for everything, house, 2 cars, all that stuff on a 1 paycheck. Those days are done. Now we have to have multiple jobs to make the same amount of money, and we're moving so much, so fast. We don't have time to eat a proper meal. We're running and gunning constantly. And then the powers that be have been constantly just feeding us poison. And it's always under the belief, or that the guys, I guess that would be the words I'm saying, that it's about making it cheaper, right? We got to make it cheaper. That's why we put these chemicals in it. And in reality, I think it's to make us dumber and fatter and just more depressed. More than ever, people are just, the food has so much more chemicals in it than it ever did before. Hey guys, the crypto market is on fire. I'm in it to win it. And the best place to find what your next play is going to be is our good friend James McMahon and Copy My Crypto. Let me tell you about Copy My Crypto. Guys, it has to piss you off to watch crypto fly up in prices for a decade and you still done nothing, okay? It makes sense. Crypto is complicated and it's really boring. Well, here's the good news. You don't have to know a thing about crypto to make the money like so many have. The CopyMyCrypto.com membership site shows you the exact cryptos that YouTuber James McMahon personally owns, which means you just got to copy him. It's like having a big brother who knows what he's doing. You don't need to know a thing about crypto or how to invest. You simply just copy along. So let me tell you about James. He runs the Crypto with James YouTube channel, which has over 50,000 subscribers. In the summer of 2020, he told his viewers to buy 26 cryptos. Had you put $100 into each one, it went on to be worth over $123,000. Of the 26 cryptos, his top pick, the one he singled out called Phantom, went up 692 times from when he said, okay, that one call alone retired a number of people, including guys in their 20s and 30s. Remember, this is public knowledge. You can go to YouTube and verify this yourself. So if you'd like to join the 2,800 members who copy James, then pause what you're doing right now and head over to copymycrypto.com/TFH. Okay, that's copymycrypto.com/TFH. That's TFH. You're not only find proof of everything I said, but my viewers get full access for just $1. Yes, you've missed out on Bitcoin, or you can keep buying some, okay? But there's over 2 million other cryptos. Do you really think you've missed out on all of them? Guys, don't waste any time. Go to the site and read it, okay? Once again, that's copymycrypto.com/TFH. It ended money worries for so many, it may just do the same for you. Guys, I said once, I'll say it again, and I'm gonna say it 1,000 times because I love it. Helix Sleep saved my life. Okay, I was lost, I was gone, I couldn't sleep, and then by the blessings of the Lord, I got a Helix Sleep mattress sent to me, and I got to pick it out. And you know what? I went midnight Lux, bang bang pow. That's what I like, dude, and my life changed. Dana started talking to me again. My dogs love me. My dogs love sleeping on my mattress. And I can't tell you, listen, you spend most of your time, okay? You spend most of your time on your bed, on your mattress. Why not get the best mattress? And you have a unique body and you have a unique way of sleeping. And Helix Sleep has the best way to find out what mattress is best for you. And that's their quick quiz. Take a quick quiz. What do you like? What you don't like? How do you like it? How do you want to make it? Look how easy. 30 seconds. 30 seconds for something that you're going to sleep on forever. There's no better way. Helix Sleep saved my life, okay? You know, when we pass on the other side and our life goes, we go back past our happiest moments of our life. When my Helix Sleep bed comes, that's going to be one of the highlights of my life because I love Helix Sleep. Everyone sleeps different. Get the best mattress for you. You guys love your Helix Sleeps, right?
Nothing better. My lady loves it. Like you said, the dog loves it. Can't get him off of it.
It's amazing. John, do you love it? Do you and your fake girlfriend love it?
Yes, we've had one for a very long time now, and we from the Punch Drunk days, and we love it.
You just can't get enough of this. It's the best of the best. Helix Sleep loves America, and they love celebrating America, and they got a nice President's Day sale early access deal. Okay, 20% off site wide, 2 free dream pillows with a mattress purchase. That's simple. How do you purchase? You just go to helixsleep.com/tinfoil for the 20% off site wide, 2 free dream pillows with your purchase of a mattress. That's helixsleep.com/tinfoil. That's helixsleep.com/tinfoil. We see RFK Jr.'s in there. I don't know what your guys' thoughts on that, but he seems to be talking along the lines of all the poisons in the food. Do you guys have any thoughts on RFK Jr.? I mean, do we have any hope at all? He was an environmental lawyer who won a couple things. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, he's cut his teeth winning lawsuits against, I believe some pharmaceutical companies as well. But, ultimately, it's not very often you're going to run into a guy like Will who has the level of knowledge, for 40 years of ag expert, being able to clean up forever chemicals and pesticide residues and even uranium contamination in a matter of months out of soil with protocols, giving people massive yields far beyond their dreams at the same time, being able to take care of livestock and honeybees and understand that the way I view things, and I think without a doubt, I'm sure Will agrees because we've talked about this, is that the earth is just one big organism and we're just critters on that organism. We all need the exact same thing. Minus the manure you might spread for soil, for fertility. Besides that, a fertility program, the things that go into the soil, I should be able to take a coffee cup and scoop that foliar spray up that I'm going to spray on a crop, and I should be able to drink it. And it's supposed to do me a lot of good, right? Because people have to understand our food used to have the 90 essential nutrients in it, the minerals and nutrients in it. Well, that's all been mined out of the ground. So we've got to figure out ways, which we have, to put back into the soil along with the microorganisms that belong there to clean up the rest of the mess and keep things operating correctly. That's the gut biome. That's the gut biome that's supposed to be from the soil to the plant, to the animal, to us, or from the plant to us. That's the gut biome, right? That is the natural living. That's vitality. That's life. That's the way that all of this is supposed to work. But when you mass murder a billion acres of soil with chemicals for 50 or 60 years, and you mine all the nutrients out of it, well, what do you expect? The American people, all you got to do is stand in a shopping mall or a grocery store and look at the people walking past you. Everybody's mentally, physically, hormonally, just everybody's destroyed. And then they tell you that you're crazy for saying that, right? Because
You're so right, dude. That's the big, don't trust your eyes or your ears.
right,
These people are the happy people. These people are the evil. And it seems like it's the other way around. The people trying to tell me how to live my life on the left always seem a little bit more miserable than the other people. And it's like, I don't want to know what your pronouns are. I want to know what psych meds you're on. Tell me that instead of your pronoun. You know what I'm
that's the
saying?
thing is most of I mean, look at our politicians. The vast majority of them are probably on a minimum of 10 pharmaceuticals apiece. They're whacked out of their gourds, bro. They're whacked out of their gourds.
I agree. Doctor, where did all this begin? Is, in your research and your vast experience in the agriculture and all that, where do you think we started to go wrong? Where was the first point in which this journey to where we are began, do you believe?
You can thank Rockefeller.
Always, dude.
Always.
Always that name.
You can thank because this natural way of looking at things was the thing that kept people alive and well prior to basically the late 1800s. And so between the late 1800s and like the mid 1920s, the whole thing changed. And that's when they started using copper sulfate and these other chemicals on these orchards and so forth, like in Yakima Valley, because the bugs started getting bad because they were using the soil was getting mined out. Then the plants become unhealthy because of the nutrient density goes away. Then the plants give off a signal and say, "Here, come eat me because I'm unhealthy." And so then the vast knowledge of those educated Rockefellerians back in the 20s, they started using pesticides, which were metal, copper sulfate, on cherries and apples and things in the Yakima Valley. That was like the first advent of pesticides. And then it's just went downhill from that point. But they forgot that the unhealthy plant was calling the bugs in to break it down, just like us. We're so unhealthy as humans. Like infections are just rampant in people, which are the bugs, basically. And
Doctor, do you think they knew that? Do you think that they knew that it was that cycle where when the trees start to die, the flies start to come in, and it's?
I don't think they know that anymore, because prior to Rockefeller changing the educational system, that was common knowledge. And once you change the education, you have one or two generations go through that disinformation programming, and then that becomes the new truth.
And it's so crazy because you're listening to people all the time talk about trust the experts, and trust the experts gotten us to where we are. Disease is high, cancer is high, overweight is high, ignorance seems to be high, all done on purpose. And it's like, so, XG, if you're asking if it was purposeful, I 100% believe it was purposeful. I believe that these demons, these energy vampires are part of this thing to destroy humanity. And I think it's all done on purpose to make us so dumb and unhealthy we don't know how everything works.
Because what they were supposed to do was move the cattle to other parts of the land, right? And let that soil regrow or refurbish or whatever you would call it. That's what they were supposed to do, right?
Well, you're talking about when they move them around.
When you're rotationally graze, they call that, or intensive grazing. Yeah, you let the animal on this section of grass for just a little while, not to kill it, but just to mow it down a little bit, and then you move it, and then let it have a rest and regrowth period. Yeah, I mean, if you're talking yes, exactly.
And the thing is, and Will can expound upon this even more, as well as, herbicides, for instance, learning from Will and Steve, that the soil test, what's void in the soil out of all those essential minerals and nutrients. Well, then when you go out and pick the weeds and you test the weeds, or the herbs is what they're supposed to be called, that each one of those herbs are pulling different elements out of the atmosphere so that when they die, they're putting those elements back into the soil to heal the land. That's the way nature's supposed to, that's nature trying to fix the soil, right? But what do farmers do? They see the weeds and they go out and spray them with poison, more poison, when they're killing the messenger, right? And that's why if you're deficient in certain nutrients, elements, why there's certain herbs that pull that out of the atmosphere, that when you micronize that and put it in a capsule or a tea or whatever, that's why your illnesses go away, because you were lacking those minerals, those elements for your proper immune function.
Yeah, I agree. Real quick, if you want to see me live, guys, I'm going to be in tonight. I'm at the Comedy Store for Comedy Chaos Live. It's all proceeds go to part of the proceeds go to the LA Fire Department to help them with the devastation of the fires. And then at the end of the month, I'm going to be in Phoenix, Arizona at the House of Comedy. Grab your tickets at samtripoli.com. When I was on Rogan, we were discussing the book. I believe it's Death by Injection or Murder by Injection. And it was the discussion of the Rockefellers coming in and changing the medical education that we got in this country. They ran off homeopathics and they made everything petro-based, medications and pharmaceuticals. And and people can't come to grips with that. And then when you go to the page and you look at the author of that book, the first thing that comes up is anti-Semitic, which, there was a time that meant something, right? Where the people they clean the browser history and stuff like that. And murder by injection, the story of a medical conspiracy against America.
And that's how you know. And that's how you know they don't want you to buy it. $210.
Yeah, look at that, $210 for a used one. They don't want you buying that. Look at that, $210. That's unbelievable. But if you
what's I don't understand what's anti-Semitic about what real healing is about.
Well, because what he talks about is the Rockefellers going in and making everybody and he had some comments later on about
I didn't even know
Hitler. They
are the
brought this
Rockefellers. No, I didn't know. Are the Rockefellers Jewish? I didn't know.
I think if you go back far enough, maybe there is. I think what happened was he had some comments about World War II, and that basically thought that one side was the actual bad guys, and they take that and they bring it over here to this book that he wrote, so to scare you from reading the book. So if he's if you're not pro-America in World War II, you obviously are anti-Semitic, and so they don't want you reading that book. So they bring, this guy's anti-Semitic, and you don't check out the book. If you go to his Wikipedia, we don't have to right now. But that was the discussion going on. And now people are having that discussion more than ever about health and stuff like that. Still, people think we're crazy. I don't know where you guys are, but I'm a terrain theorist. I don't know if you guys are into terrain versus.
Well, of course.
Sure.
Yeah, because
that's so funny. You say, of course. That's like the craziest thing to say outside of the show. People lose their mind.
No, it's not all. I mean, Will and I will stand there and debate with any virologist or medical doctor or anyone, because we know and have witnessed I had to experience it myself at, age 20 to figure out how to heal myself of lifelong childhood respiratory illness. I had to figure that out on my own. I had to study, I had to research, I had to talk to experts to get kind of a better idea on what I was doing. But it only took 10 days for my respiratory, and so I went from breathing through a straw full of mucus my whole life and suffocating to winning a world title because I had endless amounts of endurance, right? That's immune function. And Will went through a childhood of respiratory illness from agriculture chemicals. It's not the germs that are causing the problem. It's the impurities, the toxins in the environment, the synthetics and heavy metals and other things like that cause our immune function, our genetic expression, and our immune function to go haywire, so that the bugs we're already made of the population gets out of whack, and then you end up with E. coli or staph or strep throat or whatever, which those bugs are beneficial when they're in a proper population. So Will can take that and run with it like a Heisman.
Well, your thoughts on train versus germ?
My thoughts. You might as well talk. You might as well talk fraud versus truth.
I love it. Johnny, can you ask any questions that you might have, please, about virus? Johnny, please, you are hesitant on it. And that's okay.
I think it's important to define our terms here, because to some people, terrain theory means that germs and bugs don't exist at all. And I don't think you guys are saying that, right?
No, that's not at all. They do exist because we're 90% bugs and others. We're only 10% human.
Right.
Okay.
So it's the virus, right?
Go a little deeper into that, please, because I love that thought.
Okay. So on again, this is Bruce Lipton. This is the genomics thing that came out. There's a book. It's called 10% Human. By cellular count, we're only 10% human cells. We're 90% bacteria and fungus and parasites and all these other things. When they're in balance, we're all fine. But when the immune system of the human part isn't working very well, like most people's, and we test for that, so it's really easy for us to see it doesn't work because immune system function has a low number. If it's a high number, it's working well. And so when you're vibrating low or your vitality is really low, your immune system's function is really low, you can't keep the 90% in check or in balance. They're going to get out of balance, especially if you're eating a high carbohydrate, sugary diet. You're feeding the problem even worse. And so because the 90% pretty much live on glucose, which is sugar, blood sugar, it's hard. If your immune system isn't working, you can't have balance inside of you. There's a perpetual war going on for volumetric attrition. Meaning, the E. coli's are going to be fighting the whatevers, and, you throw a little sugar into that, then you throw some stress into that, and then, you got your tapeworm and your roundworms that become a little bit active, and they actually give off elements, exudates that feed certain bacteria and so forth. So you have this community. You want to talk about the terrain theory? That's what I'm talking about. You have a multifaceted, multi-species communication thing going on, and there's just like this little battle going on all the time inside of us. And if your immune system isn't working, the battle gets pretty heated for some people. You get infections and MS and headaches and, digestive problems. You get all these things, these symptoms, hundreds and hundreds of them. Well, if your immune system was functioning, the terrain would be balanced.
Is that true of viruses as well, or do you? Because I know some people.
It depends on what you call a virus.
Yeah, exactly. That's where.
I mean, you can identify SV40, simian monkey virus 40th mutation. You can identify that because it was a created thing. It's a creative set of chemistry, easily identified a certain way. Well, inside of us, we make our own viruses. Plant make viruses. We do it really twice a year in mass. Usually, fall going into winter. Spring going into summer. We go through a massive detox, so the body creates the chemistry, the viruses, the chemistry to break down, mobilize the toxins to get it out of the body, hence a cold.
Exosomes? Is that what you're calling exosomes?
In a way, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I would say the virus, in my opinion, the natural ones, it's a set of chemistry. They don't have a life onto their own except the chemistry part. But when they we're made inside. They can act as a organism in a way, especially the lab created ones, the SV40s, the HIVs. HPVs, now we have SARS-CoV-2 and all those mutations. So you have all of that chemistry, which is technically, the bioweapon side of things, which is everywhere. Like I've tracked SV40 and HPV from late 1950s on to 4 generations of people into the grandkids. It transfers through because the fetus is a detox pathway, just like sperm is a detox pathway. And it's easy to then, because the body doesn't want that crap, it's going to get rid of it. And it really gets rid of it through the fetus and the sperm pretty easy. And then now we have 4-5 generations of kids being born with all kinds of problems.
So you look back to the 1980s, and Anthony Fauci is one of the owners of the the HIV synthetic virus, and in there it says specifically that the synthetics are essential. Literally, the word for word verbatim. The synthetics are essential for replication, meaning it can't multiply or spread without the synthetic component. So when they talk about a virologist talking about, yeah, but that's not the real virus that caused AIDS. Well, then how did it jump from monkeys to human beings, and how did it become an epidemic or a pandemic without the synthetics that clearly state they are essential for replication? So they've been hitting us with bioweapons for a minimum of 40 to 50 years.
Hey, guys, right now I want to tell you about our good friends, the All-American Company, the #1 company of all time, our good friends at BlueChew. Let me tell you about BlueChew. Listen, you got to get rock hard for the future, and the only way we can do that is BlueChew. BlueChew is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but for a fraction of the cost. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their online medical providers, and once you're approved, you will get your prescription within days. BlueChew tablets are made in the USA, and prepared and shipped directly to your door. The best part, it's all done online. That means no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Cannot stand that. Thank you, BlueChew. You take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead or be ready whenever the opportunity arises, okay? BlueChew is for Americans. BlueChew wants to make men rock hard. They told me that's our mission. That's the mission, okay? They will not stop until every man is bricked up like a brick shit house, okay? Till every tent is pitched, till every rod is raised.
Make life easier by getting harder and discover your options at BlueChew.com. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try your first month of BlueChew free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank BlueChew for sponsoring the podcast.
So would you guys say
very elementary
that the human body creates an exosome, which is a detox? But anything that is labeled a virus is most likely a bioweapon, and that if we didn't have those bioweapons, these types of viruses would not exist? Because I have Andrew Koff, Dr. Andrew Koff. I've been watching some of his videos, and he's been talking about how they've used Cox postulates to prove. There's articles that say they use Cox postulates to prove COVID, and then when he goes into the article and he looks up all of the the footnotes, and he goes to the actual research that they're footnoting, they actually say it's not Cox postulates, it's Rivers revisions or something like that, whatever that's called, and Rivers revised. And that they haven't isolated these viruses. What are your thoughts on that, Doctor?
Again, it comes back to definitions. I mean, because I test for SARS-CoV-2, which is the COVID virus, if you want to label it that, but the bioweapon side of it is the SARS-CoV-2. There was SV40 piggybacked in with HIV and the injections, and people are shedding that as well. And so I don't want to debate on that. I can identify the things because we've identified them. Because I don't use their technology. We have our own technology for identification of these things, and the narratives don't match. We're looking through the lens of natural science. They're looking through the lens of clinical science, which is two worlds apart. And so, I'm sticking over here in the natural world. There's a set of chemistry that the body, the plant, the cow makes. It's called a virus. It's identified as a virus, but it's a grouping of chemistry that becomes active inside of us or inside of an organism, and that's where I'm going to stick with that.
I find that interesting, and I would love to hear more about that. I find that interesting that we do create these things.
And then we have the bioweapon side of it. That's the lab created, the warfare things that infect, that cause disease, but it's still synthetic chemistry put together in a collective called something like SV40.
Like Lyme disease as well?
Lyme disease is over 105 different organisms associated with Lyme's disease. We've identified them, and it's everywhere. It's airborne. It's on 5 continents. I don't even test for it because Lyme disease isn't really Lyme disease as we know it, like you just said, like I'm thinking you guys know it, is an outcome of an immune system that doesn't function properly. Because as soon as you fix the immune system, the Lyme disease goes away.
Interesting. I find that.
I know, like you mentioned E. coli earlier. I've always tested positive for E. coli, and every doctor is, anytime I have some kind of stomach thing, they're like, "Oh, they want to blast me with antibiotics," even though I don't have symptoms of any of that, And finally, I had a doctor. It was like, no, just some people just have E. coli. Most people, this guy told me, and it doesn't mean that you're symptomatic, But I've been trying they throw antibiotics at me every time I go to the damn doctor.
You're an outbreak monkey, dog.
No, but listen to Will explain why E. coli and staph and things like that. We all have them.
We all do.
They have to be there for. Will, you can elaborate.
Our B vitamin creation is from E. coli, Salmonella, Staph, Strep, Listeria when it's in balance. When it's not in balance, then we have showing up like you're saying. You're going to do a test. It's going to show because it's an infection. It's pathogenic, meaning it's overgrown its normal boundaries where it usually does its job in our gut, in our respiratory system, in our throat, whatever. It has grown because it's an immune system problem. The immune system's job is to keep all the critters inside of us in their proper parameters. They are not because the immune system isn't functioning. And so then, because we need these bugs, we need all of these things. They're actually, when they're in balance, that's our immune system. That is our digestion. That is our metabolism. That is our immune function. All these things are dependent on the immune system keeping and regulating everybody's balance. When the immune system can't do its job, you have then E. coli outbreaks or salmonellas or staph problems or candida problems. It's never the bug. The bug is only doing what the bug can do because it can. There's plenty of food. It's hot. It's moist. And what do? They're in there breeding, having babies, and eating and shitting. That's what they do. And that's because the immune system is allowing it to happen that way. It's not keeping it. It comes all back to that immune function. Everything back to the immune function.
And does the immune system, when it's functioning properly, kill off them or get it to a balanced level?
It holds a balance with everything. And that's what the terrain theory was saying is the balance is the diversity of all these strains in harmony with each other. That's the immune system's job. It's no different than an orchestra. If you've got 30 tubas and you've got one clarinet and one flute, you're not going to sound real good, right? There's an off balance. But when you have equal proportioned in there, you can sit and that music is actually healing for you. And so, but it's the conductor's job, it's the immune system's job to keep everybody in check, keep an eye on everything, and keep everything flowing properly, just like in an orchestra. It's the guy on the podium's job. And unfortunately, our immune system is in the toilet. It's not on the podium anymore. It doesn't work right. And so then your body's out of balance.
Yeah. I mean, I just feel that like I have so many people I know that have moved out of the big city, moved to a small city, growing their own food, doing all that, getting out in nature, starting to do that. I feel like if you live in the big city, you're just out of whack. And I just know people are constantly sick all the time.
It's funny you say that, Sam. I just wanted to ask, do you think you can be healthy and live next to a freeway? Is that possible? Can you have a healthy life and live right next to a freeway? Like in a major city? Is that possible?
So the term health, the way you're using it, is a very subjective because that has a wide bandwidth.
The way you would define it. Let's say the way you would define health. Can you be a healthy person and live next to a active freeway like in LA, like we all do?
Not unless you're doing massive amount of supplementation. Okay, I lived in California down there, in Woodland Hills area for a while, and so I'm very familiar. I've been all over the LA area. I'm very familiar with that, like especially right after rain, that gritty feeling on your tongue, on the inside of your lips from all the crap in the air. So that stuff gets into you. All right, so you're going to have to be extremely vigilant on keeping yourself not eating crap, supplementation, because your body is in such an unnatural, high-stressed environment on all levels when you're living there like that. It is definitely not going to be easy. You're going to have to work at it, and unfortunately, it's going to cost some money because you can't grow this stuff. You can't get these supplements that are actually going to get you well very, very easily because some of us know what it takes, and most of the supplements on the market are crap at best, and so it's going to take a little bit. So is it going to be easy? No. Is it? I would never live there. That's why I don't live there. I was there for a reason for a year, then I left because I had a purpose being there, and but I left. I live out in the country. I do go back and forth into cities, but I can tell you when I'm there for like weeks on end and then leave, what a difference. When you get out and experience fresh air, which that's a subjective statement anymore, and it also, but you get at least out of the heavy congestion, your body then can start. One thing is just relax because you don't have all the noise and crap.
I'm with you on that. The level of anxiety out here, like let's take these fires. They were horrible, without a doubt. I personally believe they were purposeful. These Bolsheviks trying to destroy us from the inside. Karen Bass. I don't know if you guys saw us last night. Probably why XG missed the first show. He's out all night at the immigration
definitely
riots.
not. No. W for you. A little late, like 2 months late, but you called it.
Yeah, I mean, you see it right now, and so there's this big standoff between the police and the I wouldn't say rioters yet. I'd say protesters.
Americans, to be honest.
Illegals. No, the legals.
I don't think they're out. They wouldn't be out there because those cops would take them. Those are for sure Mexican Americans.
What's this attitude where you go out and you burn the flag of the country that you desperately tried to get into and want to stay in?
Well, those are already allowed to be here. The point is that those are already allowed to be here. The people already doing that are already U.S. American citizens. I guarantee you an illegal would not be doing that.
This is the same question, though. They are people who left Mexico, and they are waving the Mexican flag, the country that they wanted to leave, and burning the flag. Now, I'm a free speech absolutist. You want to burn the flag, you can. That's your own business. I wouldn't. But I don't know, man. That to me makes zero sense. And
here's what I think we should do, guys. Is we should have Mexico play America in football. Anyone who shows up in Mexican gear, you're gone. Bye-bye. Back to Mexico. Sorry, we know what side you're on. Bye-bye. No, all I can. But the reason I bring that up is because So there was this big standoff happening, and then all of a sudden the cops just left because Karen Bass gave the order to stand down. And once again, when you're a one issue voter and your only thing you care about is abortion and stopping hate, which is there's no goal line that's just like I hate and I'm just so rich and I can just hate forever. Yeah, hate, this is what you get. You let the barbarians in. And so this thing came out, you saw it. I don't know if you guys saw this, and I was telling this to I think we talked about it in the last show. And I was telling Dana this. USAID gave $20 million to George Soros' prosecution fund. So all of these hellscape big cities like Chicago, New York, LA, where everything is out of control, is because USAID gave $20 million to George Soros to fund absolutely crazy prosecutors which think crime is racism. And this is where you get the Bolsheviks coming in. This is what you get. So the reason I bring all that up is because when the fires were going down, they were still talking about the fires like they were raging chaotically. And I go, I can't see the fires. The news is talking like the fires everywhere. Where are the fires? Fire. And then I realize it's because they want you in a constant state of anxiety. They want to feed off your fear because when you're, like you said earlier, when you're in this heightened state of anxiety, your immune system's shot. And you're getting sick and you're miserable and you're depressed. And these energy vampires feed off that in so many different ways.
Yeah, and going back to your question real quick about being able to live in LA and being healthy, it's everywhere, right? So the state of Iowa, where I'm from, the soil and the water are so bad from ag chemicals that the cancer rates are 50% higher than anywhere else in the country. And that's, becoming systemic across the country, to be honest with you. But also because the pharmaceutical companies have taken over the supplement industry as well, and the agriculture industry. Now only 90 or 95% of our food is grown with synthetics. So the healing properties of our food is gone, except for maybe 5%. And on that note, stays right within that because our supplements are supposed to have come from nutrient-rich food, micronized food, concentrated nutrients to help your health, speed your health up, right, more quickly. So only 5% of all supplements aren't created in a laboratory. So you're not going to move the needle with laboratory created garbage. That's why, somebody taking vitamins and minerals from, GNC or wherever and doing a protein powder, all of these things are synthetics. Well, because they're young, they might not be getting sick or getting cancer or whatever yet, but they think that that's what's keeping them healthy. They're just running on youth.
Okay, so for someone that lives, protein powders, no matter whey protein, no matter even they say grass-fed protein, none of that's good.
I mean, that's
not my fault. I know it's not what a steak consider. I definitely know I don't get the same amount of protein off of a shake, but they're not. You would consider try to avoid those as much as possible as well. I thought they were kind of on the good side.
Will will tell you all about whey protein.
Oh, do you want to know the history of the whey protein?
Yes, I do.
Do we have some time here?
Yes, we do. We have time.
Fantastic, because I got a story I want to tell, and I haven't told this very much. So, okay, so whey protein, whey, comes from cheese making. Okay? I know this because I used to haul milk from Minnesota to Wisconsin to a place, and you can go on Google Earth. It's called Twin Town Cheese Factory. They built this factory out in the middle of the country because they were tired of paying to get rid of the whey in the landfill and dumping it in Lake Michigan. And so they moved the factory, the whole cheese factory. You can go on Google Earth, look it up, Twin Town Cheese Factory in Wisconsin. They built it out in the country because they had the brilliant idea, instead of paying to get rid of the whey, they would irrigate the soil with it. And you can look on Google Earth, and there's pivots, which is the irrigation center pivot all around that area, that they take the cheese, the whey, and they were doing that through the 80s until they started destroying the chemistry of the soil. So then they built a bunch of pig barns, which if you look on Google Earth, it would be, I think, to the west of the Cheese Town factory, Twin Town Cheese Factory. There's a bunch of pig barns that were there, and they started raising pigs, but then they noticed that the pigs were getting cancers and dying and having all kinds of problems. So that's when I came into the picture, because that was in the early 90s when I would haul milk from Minnesota to the cheese factory, and because I was the young guy, I had to wait around till 2 a.m. to get my load of whey to go back to Minnesota to then go to Litchfield or Little Falls, Minnesota, to the dehydration plants, and it was only allowed to be put in milk replacer for animals until about 1995, when the dairy industry lobbied, just like the soybean industry did in the 60s, when it would turn a lubricant into a food item. Whey mysteriously became acceptable for human use. Okay,
we had to pump you up.
Oh my God.
So do you know why when you take whey protein, you get pumped up? Because it's a neuromuscular toxin. And when you take it, it's the toxicity your liver and kidney have a really hard time processing it. And so it stores it intermuscularly, and you look jacked, man. Okay. And then you have 20 years of absolute crap science justifying its use, because now, just like coconut oil, just like soybean protein, we now have a revenue source instead of a liability paying to get rid of the crap. We now found a consumer to buy it that will pay dearly for it. And then, because of the Stockholm syndrome is so bad, they will berate your friends if you don't take it to get jacked as well.
I like mine flavored with chocolate.
I like my toxins with chocolate.
And I just bought a whole, like those big ones that they sell you, 60 servings. Now I'm just like, the fuck am I going to do with that?
You're going to find somebody at the gym you don't really care for, and because it's going to just kill your testosterone and give your
really?
What do you think toxins do in your body? So you're fighting a losing battle. You might as well just have a steak, get some real colostrum, grass-fed colostrum, and check out this thing that is called a regeneration kit, so you can get that junk out of you.
What about creatine? Is any of the synthetic creatine pretty good? You know how they sell it now in little container form? No? Keep it steak?
I prefer bacon, eggs, or a steak or something. I mean, why would you want to put these single element amino acids into your body? And see, this is where I don't know. I'm just weird. You guys
take a high grade. What he's telling you is, eat grass fed beef, eat free range chicken eggs, eat the real stuff, and find some grass fed beef colostrum for your aminos. That's the best you're going to do.
We're designed to eat whole food. We're designed to eat whole food. This idea, and this is just marketing. This is just plain, industrial marketing to get you to buy something that has been basically like taking the meat or the milk or the whatever. They strip it all apart. They strip it down to each amino acid. Then they mix and blend and whatever, and they feed it back to you in a little bitty jar like this that costs $1,000. And so it's called. There's a word for it. It's where they are increasing the value. Every time they process it, they say it increases the value. Well, it increases the value that they can charge you for, but it doesn't increase the nutritional value of anything, because you were designed to eat whole food again. We're not designed to eat creatine separate from leucine, separate from tryptophan, we're not designed that way. But then again, clinical science, it's all about stripping everything apart, identifying individually. Your stomach is separated from your little toe, which is totally not true, as you all know. I mean, so why not eat the whole food the way it's intended? That's my thing. I got more bodybuilders that use our stuff and our services that are all natural. They're leaner. I mean, they definitely can run through the air faster than these whey drinking guys, but because they're leaner, but they're stronger. To me, the idea of strength doesn't come from volume. It comes from the amount of life force you got in you and the tension and the strength of your muscle strains, not in a huge collective, because that's bulky. I mean, I'm sure Pat could whip the ass on a heavyweight guy just because he's little and he's quick, versus these big Goliath guys that can't move, have really limited range of motions. And that's, to me, you can't win that way. That's all ego. That's because, you got a little something in your pocket that you should, wishing you had a bigger something in your pocket. That's all ego thing. Just
little
saying.
Dick dudes are dangerous. Little dick dudes are dangerous. So it sounds like they had this product. They're like, we got to do something with it. We're going to put it out. We're going to sell it to people. And this, to me, seems to be, regardless of what you think of RK Jr., seems to be the essence of his messages. Like, they're feeding us crap for profit. And the fact that that's allowed to happen in a proper economy, in a proper world, that wouldn't be allowed to happen. That somebody would be like, that's unhealthy, we're not putting that out. And
yeah, and you've got to look at the way that I look at the world now is there's the real world and everything in it, and then there is a counterfeit, patented, synthetic counterfeit for everything from real agriculture nutrient inputs into the soil to fake NPK petroleum-based fertilizers, right? There's fake breasts, there's fake acids, there's fake lips, there's fake money now. Fiat currency is created out of debt, right?
It's crazy.
It has no tangible asset. The fake education system, there is a duplicate literally for everything real in this country right now. And people are being moved toward that transhumanism, synthetic existence, while the world is being destroyed with synthetics as well and toxified to the point where people are like, I don't even want to be in the real world anymore. They're like, upload my consciousness in the metaverse. And again, meanwhile, 20 states have legalized liquefying human corpses and using that as fertilizer on farm fields. Google that one.
I want to go back to touch on this other bit, because what you talked about, we're so toxic right now. I mean, I think the job is almost complete for the toxicity level that they're now easily saying these things in public, which we knew in the 80s, some of us, that it was bad in the 80s, let alone and today. And I think it's so bad now that everyone is so implanted with so much crap that they're even saying these things, because the technology says that we're right there on the precipice of what the tech guys are installing into people, that we are nodes on the internet, and we are the batteries for that system. Like, it's right there, right now. And that's why I think they're even talking, JFK and all those guys are even talking about it, because it's already here. Like, you're already seen very easily, because most people are so malnutrition and loaded with metal, and they're so living in perpetual state or fight or flight, that with the technology that's there, they're easily seen as already part of the system. Like, the damage is already done, and it's like they're just easily talking about the toxicity levels. And now the stuff coming out with, I don't know if you've watched Sabrina Wallace
we love her. I can't get a hold of her. I want to get a hold of her so badly.
So a lot of that information, especially that Chris is talking about now, is because I'm aware of that and we've been testing for it, and I'm aware of all this stuff. So Sabrina coming out is fantastic in what she says, and the way Chris has been putting things together. But there's a way out. Like I say, there's solutions to some of this stuff, which what we talked about earlier is part of that. But I'm saying, though, that the job's done for the most part. That's why they're saying these things in public.
Yeah, and you've got to, and then on top of that, the technology within the cells, the synthetics, the heavy metals. Well, that's the very thing that we know how to chelate or transmute and get rid of out of the body, right? And fix. So a lot of active duty military people who have had health issues, along with civilians, of course, but a lot of active duty, some of which I know very closely, I'm not going to say who, high level, special forces guys who have been damaged by these treatments starting in 2021, severely damaged. And we've been able to reverse that damage by removing the synthetics and heavy metals, the self-assembling nanotech and those things out of their bodies, because that's what these components were designed to do. Not by us, but by our creator, by nature. However, you can look up, research antioxidants' ability to remove heavy metals and synthetics, chelate them from the system. That's what they're designed to do by nature, right? Antioxidants, berries, grapes, fruits, certain vegetables, the antioxidant properties of those, had they been still grown with real nutrients in the soil, have the power to be able to chelate, bind with, and pull those toxins out, right? So we have that to consider. We know that this works. We've seen it. We've seen the damage and then the damage reversed in thousands of people. Number one. Okay. Number two, when we look at genetic modification of any corporation that has a patented process to alter something that exists in nature, they patent the process, and then if they're successful, they own that seed or that mosquito, that honeybee, or now with mRNA technology and CRISPR technology, potentially humans, because that is a patented process to alter. They call it gene therapy in humans, not genetic modification. They call it gene therapy, but it's the exact same thing and altering genetics. So then we come into patent property issues and liabilities. And I'm honestly waiting, and I joke around about it to a certain extent, but it's really not a joke. I'm waiting for Pfizer and Moderna to start arguing who owns these people.
I wouldn't doubt it, dude.
That's not even funny. Why do you think the medical system draws 18 tubes of blood every time you go in? Why? They do that because then they test those tubes to make sure that you're taking your pharmaceutical drugs and that you're genetically modified because you've taken their patented stuff, and now you're patentable because they can prove your genetics have been changed by their patented process. Now you're patented, just like getting injected with the naughty. And now this is not a joke. I know a nurse that it's her job, that's all she does is report certain things to certain agencies and certain pharmaceutical companies. This has been going on since the late 90s. I live next door to a nurse that was her job. And so this is you have a medical straw man like you have a corporate straw man or a financial straw man. It's mirrored now. It's all meshed into one. Why do you think 500 billion just got dumped into data centers? This is to manage the whole corporate, medical, agricultural mafia mess.
It's unbelievable, dude. It's just like these predators never stop hunting.
But that's why all of the years of my research for 38 years of trying to build better human beings, superhumans that could do incredible things and win world titles and do a lot of other things. And I cross paths with this guy, and I sit back and listen to him talk to microbiologists from the military that are doing research on our programs, and they're listening to him, turning their head sideways and squinting their eyes like, what is this guy talking about? Trying to understand how to do the test. on the programs because look, these are high-level military microbiologists, and they still don't understand the shit he's saying.
That's right? Because they were taught clinical science.
Yeah.
Clinical science is not natural science. It's completely two different realities, but the people don't know. They just see the word science, which really science of today. And I'll leave you with this quote that this comes from Dr. Michael Steffi, one of my mentors. Science of today is nothing more than merely advanced marketing tools for industry. There hasn't been any true science since the 50s, according to Dr. Michael.
Yeah, everybody is controlled. They don't want to piss off the money.
Well, and ultimately it comes down to this, is that we know there's natural substances, existing substances, that will remove synthetics and heavy metals from the body, that will correct a lot of cellular operations, that will fix gut biome, fix nervous system issues, brain issues, things like that. And that's why, we put that regeneration kit together to assist people. And look, this is all about make it very clear that from my point of view, that there is no such thing as disease. It does not exist. It is just manifestations of inflammation depending on your genetics and how those chemicals, those heavy metals affect your particular genetics and where that's going to manifest at, whether it's respiratory, digestive, arthritis, whatever those problems end up being. That's where genetics come in to me in terms of my understanding and how immune function is affected, period. And I've seen this ever since I healed myself 38 years ago. I've sat back and observed this and watched it with thousands of people, and he's done it, 25,000 times.
Quick question. I have a feeling you guys might have some thoughts about the role of LDL and heart disease and what we're told about the origins of heart disease. Do you have?
You're gonna get Will going now, buddy.
Yeah. I suspected I might.
Go ahead.
I choose not to talk about that whole thing because it's all based on some premises that, for one, your heart is regulated to X amount of things because of your height and your weight and your whatever, and it doesn't fluctuate. Because I can walk up to your face right now and I'm going to smack you right on your face. What's going to happen? Okay, your blood pressure is going to go right up. You're going to clench your fists and grit your teeth. Your heart is just going to start pounding. There's our bodies respond to our environment, and so when you're eating diesel fuel, vegetable oil. when you're consuming a high amount of grains, cereal grains, nuts, and seeds, it don't matter if it's organic or not, you're basically poisoning yourself. Okay, when you take in poison, your body responds in a certain way. So your LDL and your cholesterol level, because we need cholesterol. Our brain's like 100% cholesterol. Okay, cholesterol to me is AKA repair and rebuild. That cholesterol that was made in our body, in our liver, that is a repair mechanism. I don't look at things that way. I think there's enough information out there. The whole cholesterol con, it's the name of a book. There's a whole bunch. I got like 10 books on the fraud and cholesterol, and the pushing of the numbers up and down and whatever over the last 50 years. Same with blood pressure. Same with a lot of these things is there. Here again, clinical science is creating marketing tools for the pharmaceutical and medical industry to then basically bullshit you with a narrative, get you to believe it because you trust those people. It's called the Stockholm Syndrome. And then you take their drugs. Right. To then be forced modifying up and down with things. When in fact is, in the natural science world, if our immune system functioned, if our digestion functioned, if our nervous system functioned, if all our metabolisms were functioning based on response to environmental stimuli like the way we are created, then our cholesterol levels, our blood pressure levels, all those levels would be constantly in flux like they're supposed to be to then keep us balanced and well.
Right on.
Amazing, dude. I feel like cancer is along the lines of that, right? I mean, like,
I believe cancer is part of the just the well, we all have cancer, so then we got to look at now you open that worm down. Oh man, so now we got to define cancer.
Well, and what is cancer? Is it parasites? Is it
exactly
parasite eggs? Is it toxins given off by parasites? All the above. There's all kinds of.
Again, you have clinical science. And now there's the natural science view. So because we can test for these things. Okay. I just tested a guy, one of Pat's buddies, today, who they got him talked into, I forget, some kind of like bladder or lung cancer or something like that. And they got him, he had a round of chemotherapy or something and it didn't work and he felt worse. And so, okay, so I'm looking at his scan because we're scanning for all this stuff. So I'm like, okay, dude's got immune system function that's almost zero. He has got infections like through the roof, like parasites, worms, flukes is high, bacteria is high, fungus and mold is absolutely high, aflatoxins through the roof, heavy metals through the roof, and no immune function. Now, I did pick up heavy radiation and a lot of chemicals because he just had some medical medical chemotherapy. But again, cancer. He had zero. I look at, we have a file called carcinomas, which is, I don't know, there's hundreds of kinds of cancer in that one, not one. It was zero. And he was being treated for what? Cancer.
Oh my God! Really?
He had zero, but he had massive amount of infections. Okay, and aflatoxins and mycotoxins, which are basically the poop from the infections that the body has to deal with. So what? I know this, that I've got a book that's this thick that I got out of the medical system, that when they pull a biopsy, they take the material out of the biopsy, they put it in a petri dish, clinical science, and then they grow out whatever organism that grows out in the cellular. They watch it, how fast it grows, and what organism that's there. There's actually a cross reference from the organism and the cell count in the petri dish to a cancer diagnosis, and that is legal, boys.
So they're trying to find cancer.
Well, of course, because we all have it.
They're defining parasites. They're defining parasites or parasite shit or parasite nests of parasite eggs as cancer.
I had a guy.
God, I could talk to you guys all day.
I've got so stories. Crazy. I got one story about that, and I'll just leave it at that. I've got hundreds. I had one guy. We were picking up tapeworm colony. It was in his duodenum, and it was big. It was a mat. You could feel it from the outside. I mean, when I'm talking a baseball size growth, it was just sticking out right there by his xiphoid process. So anyhow, I test them. I say, well, you got parasites. Here's the deal. And here's where they are. Let's start doing that. Well, he started on the program, and he called it sick. Well, he was going a little too aggressive. He wanted to hammer everything down, and it started making him sick. So he quit. He went back to Queen's University Cancer Hospital in New York. Yes, they told him he had stomach cancer. They literally went in and took the tumor out, which was a tapeworm colony nest. I have it in writing somewhere that it was the tapeworms causing the cancer. They got him a stage 4 cancer diagnosis. They cut this big tumor out. They then sewed his stomach into his small intestine. He then ended up not doing my stuff, but he ended up doing the chemotherapy and radiation, and he was dead in no time. Now, that's happened multiple times. That's that's just like standard process for stomach cancer. You might as well, every single stomach cancer person I've seen with that diagnosis all had either a tapeworm or a roundworm infection in their duodenum.
Horrible.
Unbelievable, man.
But to treat the parasite is a really inexpensive revenue stream versus treating cancer.
Unbelievable. What's your take on ivermectin?
Well, I've been using it since I was a kid because when Dad wormed the cattle, he wormed the kids, he wormed the hired men's families and kids. Everybody got wormed when we wormed the cattle. And so I've been just doing it. I've doused my kids with it. I've eaten buckets of paste. I've had it dumped on me, rubbed on me, on my feet. You know, I prefer the liquid injectable kind because it's easier to take orally, and it's more potent than the paste. It tastes better than the paste. Ivermectin is a wonderful tool because it not only knocks your parasite load down, it also helps to knock the other infections like funguses down. It also is a really good for helping the body to chelate because it does something on the cell to help the chelation process happen, but it also knocks down the infections and boosts the immunity that way as well. So it also breaks down like tumors and stuff. It kind of works like serapeptase that way, where there's some enzymatic process in there that actually helps to break some of these egg nests and tumors down, and get that out of the body as well. And so does fenbendazole. Fenbendazole is a similar process.
What do you think about alkaline water?
I think it's great to bathe with.
Here we go.
No.
Yeah, I would never. So I'm gonna just tell you that most everything in the natural health industry is designed to harm you to some extent. Because it's run by the same people that bring you, Viagra and Cialis. So our body, we're a biological computer / battery. You got to have a positive and negative. You got to have a acidic part of you and an alkaline part of you. And by nature, if everything was running right, that from your mouth to your rectum is the more acidic part. And the tissue is more of the alkaline part. And so when you force alkalize orally, you're causing a polarity reversal and actually causing a lot of downstream metabolic problems over time. Because when you put alkaline stuff in here and you swallow the alkalinity, you're forcing the body to then change a normal acidic condition in your stomach and intestines to an alkaline, which forces your body tissue to become more acidic. So in that reversal process, you then have a problem with a lot of things: neurology, muscles, joints. There's a lot of problems in that reversal, because here's the thing. We wouldn't need even the thought of alkalinity and acidity if we were eating properly, our foods weren't toxic, our environments weren't toxic, and we were not in a perpetual state of fight or flight. Because when you're in a perpetual state of fight or flight, your body chemistry is totally thrown off. And that's really clear in a book called The Biology of Aggression, written in 1980 by NATO. You can look that up. That book used to cost like $1,000 as well. I got my first copy of that in the 90s for a dime at a garage sale. So look around. But this is why I don't like forcing I don't like forcing to alkalize through your mouth. That's not the book. That's you got to go to the same name. Go to NATO, or the author is one of the authors is Brain, Paul Brain or something, but it's the NATO, and it's got to be the 1980 version. There's some subtle differences in the 2012 edition. You got to go to the original one. And anyhow, because everyone is in such a perpetual state of fight or flight, which they're going to run. They're going to run acidic. They're going to run low oxygen just on its face. You're going to be in basically perpetual adrenal fatigue. Because of that, your pituitary gland, your pineal gland, they're just going to be just overtaxed, and just your body chemistry is going to be off. So trying to alkalize orally is similar to pissing on a bonfire. Plus, you're pissing with high alcohol fuel.
You can also give yourself GERD, right? Gastrointestinal reflux, right? From
Johnny, we can't see you.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
My camera's overheated. Is that correct?
The conversation's that good it overheated his camera. Can you believe that?
Yeah, no, this is fire. This is fire. I'm not going to keep you guys all day. Johnny, did you get to answer your question?
Yeah, he said yes. Yeah, I mean, it's because it's a counterintuitive thing. Most people think that if they have acid reflux, that it's because of an acidic environment, and really, it could be quite the opposite.
You know what? So acid reflux for the most part. Okay, so you definitely have a microbial imbalance. You got an immune system problem. You generally have a tapeworm or a roundworm infection right there at the duodenum, at the exit of the stomach. You then have a diet high in cereal grains, nuts, seeds, or anything products made from them. You don't have the enzymatic balance. You're in a perpetual state of fight or flight. I mean, there's your GERD, there's your IBS, there's your 80-some different intestinal tract diseases, all right there for the most part. And then you throw on all the chemical medical interventions on top of that, which just exaggerates all of that. Or you can just smoke weed. Okay, and most of your weed is so out of balance because it's been stressed beyond belief. You know, the weed isn't even medicine anymore because it has PTSD, because it is in a stress state, because that's what THC is. THC is a stress state. It's a stress response. You really, if you grow like our hemp that we grow, our cannabis we grow, it has zero THC naturally living on the plant because we do everything to ensure that plant's peace, harmony, nutrition, immune function is there, and there's no THC. THC is actually a response. Let's see. If THC was a visual, it would be like an Ethiopian kid. That would be leprosy,
THC. Or leprosy.
Leprosy or something, exactly. That's what they call medicine, which actually does all kinds of bad metabolic. I think that's why they actually allow it to be legal, because THC is actually by itself, these high THC things, is actually causing more problems downstream, especially your testosterone loss, especially the brain functioning on an electrical metabolic state. It's not medicine anymore. It's just not. So anyhow, I sorry I go off on tangents.
No, it's great. I'm just telling you, when something's everywhere all the time, you should really ask yourself, well, how is that possible? When they shut down, listen, you want to find out what's good or bad, look at what was allowed to happen during COVID and what was allowed not to happen during COVID. In California, what was allowed during COVID?
Weed and alcohol.
Weed stores, okay? Amazon Fresh.
Fast food.
Do your things. Fast food.
Couldn't go to church.
Couldn't go to church. Couldn't work out. Couldn't get out in the sun. That's it, dude. Guys, I'm going to be honest with you. This episode was beyond awesome. I can't thank you enough for coming on. Pat, you know I love you. I have a personal relationship with you, and I love you so much. You look great, man. Your energy is great, buddy. I can't tell you, you're beaming, dude. So it's so great to see you, and I are brothers. And Dr. Will, thank you so much, man. I'm so thankful you came on and joined us, and it was just an all-time epic episode. I learned so much from it. My final question, it will be Tuesday. If I want to get to a nutritionist, do you guys have any recommendations, or should I go locally?
There's no nutritionist that's worth their weight in spit, because they're taught clinical science. Clinical nutrition is death nutrition. Okay, it's that simple. Natural thing, it's two separate worlds. Clinical nutrition is only there for the slave work unit to just keep them barely alive, but yet sick enough to keep drawing money off them until they're dead. That's clinical nutrition in my book, because what most clinical nutritionists are taught, that's why my mentors kept me from going down that path. They pointed at me and said, no, don't do that. Go over here. And so this is where I'm more of the keto or actually more carnivore living foods, that the rock to rot theory. If it won't rot on your counter within the first 7 days of sitting there, you should not eat it.
Huh. Such a good idea. I've heard there's, and again, I don't put much credence in any research, but I've heard research recently suggesting that low carb, which is something has always been good for me and made me feel healthier, can disrupt the biome, in the gut. Do you think there's any truth to that? What is that from? Do you suspect?
I believe it disrupts it in a good way.
In a good way. Okay.
Absolutely. It's you feed a dog graham crackers and sugar, and then you switch the dog. Then you switch the dog over to a carnivore diet, the way it's supposed to be eating. There's a massive transition period there, and so it's all in how you look at it. You want your dog sick and stinky and hip problems and all that, or you want a dog that's eating real stuff that goes outside and it's a totally different animal just by changing that diet. And it's very disruptive changing the diet, and we're no different because we have a short digestive tract like a dog. So when you change your diet over to a more of a food that rots really fast, you're going to have a lot of change in your body as well.
Right on.
So crazy. Great episode. One more time, guys. Where would you like people to come and check you out?
Just go to Mineral King and order that regeneration kit. And look, you're going to have some detox symptoms potentially. You might have a little bit of the runs. That's toxins coming out of you. You might feel kind of sluggish. You might even have a dull headache or something, but drink a lot of water with that and flush your system out. And after, 2-3 days of detoxing, your endurance, your breathing, your inflammation, all of those things will subside greatly. And we've seen some incredible stuff endurance wise out of endurance athletes with that protocol.
I'm a little more liberal on the 2 to 3 day. I say sometimes it could take a couple weeks. Just all depends on your state of ill health that you consider health.
Yeah, and toxicity. Yeah.
All right, guys. Stay on. I just want to say thank you so much. It's been a great interview, and let's break it down. Wow. I can't thank Dr. Will and I can't thank Pat enough for coming on the show. I mean, an all-time epic.
Epic.
It was epic, dude. That was an epic episode. And Johnny, I feel like Dr. Will kind of met me in the middle, right? Kind of where you've been, where it's like these viruses, they're man-made. I think they're exosomes, and then anything that isn't, there's a lot of fake man-made, like in laboratory stuff too. Does that kind of meet you?
Well, don't you intuitively? I always felt intuitively that the lab leak thing was true. I still think it's true, and this would
interesting.
This would be why. This would be a way it could be true. Is that this because it just seems like something they would do, and now the thing I don't buy about lab leak is that this was an accident. I don't think that. I think it was probably on purpose.
Oh, you really think was on purpose? That person came out the lab, they died. You know how they mentioned someone came out
I don't know
first?
if that happened. No, I just mean it came from a lab in Wuhan is really what I mean when I say lab.
Okay.
I don't know about the narrative of the whole thing. But no, I wouldn't surprise me if it was on purpose. But this would be a way for us to kind of, like you said,
bridge that gap.
Yeah.
Because you're kind of right. You're like,
because it is something. We've had it. It's not like we all had weird, similar symptoms. And it's not like anything. Now, I do think that it's possible that it's not even existing anymore because you don't, they say, it's different strains, but it's nothing like
the only story I did bring up Cox postulate, and he had an interesting reaction to it. I saw him do that. I should have pressed that a little bit more.
Yeah,
I would love to know what he thought about that because, the whole thing was like, so we're going to have this guy on who's talking about how he discovered, listen to this, guys, that the PCR test is used for DNA testing. That's how they test DNA, the PCR test.
Test it for what? What are they testing for?
That's
DNA.
what we're going to find out. But whenever I hear the PCR test is being used, I'm like, something weird's going on, because the guy who invented it even said it can't tell you anything specific.
Yeah,
and if you crank it up to a certain number, you get whatever you want to find.
Yeah.
No, and I'm with Johnny, where I think it's a different strain, because I got sick not too long ago, and it kind of felt like some type of flu, but it was definitely not COVID. I didn't lose my taste buds. I didn't lose my smell.
Well, dude, there's something going around though that is gnarly. My cousin, he just died. He's like 40 something, 50. Like he's dead.
Johnny, were you in the area?
What do you? No.
I was implying you might be a serial killer. Johnny, I'm sorry for your loss of your
No,
family.
I didn't. It's not a guy I knew, but it was someone that my mother grew up with and knew, and he was like maybe 50s. He wasn't the healthiest guy, but he got the same respiratory thing that's going around, dude. That's just putting people, like both my parents were laid low by it. I know some people my age from here, North Carolina, that had to go to the emergency room because they had low blood oxygen, but none of them are saying it. They're not saying.
By the way, I don't want to get into it, but I know somebody was in the hospital for that. That's crazy that you just said that.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, it's everywhere. There is a respiratory, and you remember when that mist was going around, everybody was like, oh, there's poison in the fog or whatever. I don't think it was that, but people were saying that because everybody's getting sick or has been sick recently. So
that's crazy, dude.
Oh, hey, and Sam, and what's up with the planes? They really don't want us to fly. What the fuck's going on with that?
I'm telling you, bro, they don't want us to fly. And it's so funny because I see people tweeting that, and I'm like, yeah, I came up with that, but, that's fine. I'm glad
really?
everybody's out there saying it.
Yeah, dude, you've been on that for a long time.
Yeah.
Other thing is, anybody else gonna empty out their kitchen? No alkaline water, no protein.
I don't do alkaline. I did it for a little bit, and then I started reading a little more, and it sounds like
I want to get out of LA so bad, dude.
That's when he talked about that. Immediately, I was like, oh, we gotta get out of here.
Just build this new studio, keep it here if we need it, and then figure out somewhere to go. We should all have a discussion.
Yeah, pitch in on something.
Dude, for what we pay here.
Oh yeah, we could live like kings.
Oh, imagine
we could live like kings.
Like for the difference, we could still afford if we wanted to come back here, like have a crash pad here. So I don't know. Relationships are the things I think we all have to
deal with.
Deal with.
Yeah.
But
I think all three of our ladies are the ones who don't want to go. No ones.
Well, yeah, she's got a whole life, like a job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
all of them. Yeah.
I'd come back. I'd fly back to visit her. I wouldn't forget about her.
Aw, Johnny, that's love. I will come back. So I thought it was a great episode.
Yes.
I thought it bridged a lot of stuff that we believed in. It's fun. I'm a huge Pat Miletich fan, not just from his UFC days, but from just him being just a wonderful person. And I'm blessed to call a friend. He calls me to see how I'm doing. I call him to see how he's doing. Blessings. So guys, thank you so much. And I just want to say one more time real quick that I just want to thank everybody who came down. One more time, John. You know who we are. We're here to
rock.
There we go. Some people complain they were missing it. We're gonna give it to you in the bonus. Go to samtripoli.com.
About to rock with these ads. Yeah. Here we go.
Yeah, here we go. Come on, dude. Go see Sam Tripoli. Go see me in Phoenix. Watch me
also
crush.
Comedy Chaos, guys. Great lineup.
Oh, you got Comedy Chaos tonight. Comedy Chaos is tonight, dude. Hopefully it'll be sold out. By the way, Comedy Chaos is the most inexpensive comedy show at the Comedy Store and probably at the other comedy clubs. I do not want fleece people. I want a great show for a low price because I know people are hurting for money. So just always know that. Daddy does it cheap. Okay, all the time. Got a murder lineup.
Is that about you? Yeah.
Just added Whitney Cummings at the time of this. So we got Sam Tripoli, Amir K, Trevor Wallace, Andrew Santino, Whitney Cummings, Adam Ray, Liza Schlesinger. All my friends who still talk to me. That's getting harder and harder, dude. Hey, guys, go to samtripoli.com. All things Sam Tripoli. I'm putting up a new video almost every day. Almost every day there's a new video where it's tinfoil hat, conspiracy social club. We don't smoke to say no. Broken Sim, which is a top 160 comedy podcast.
Yeah.
It's just big. What?
Yeah, it was in the 150s. I think we even briefly got above 150.
Bang, dude. People love it. Bang. It's just us talking, me and Johnny. Guys, go to samtrooper.com, premium content. You get 3 shows a week. That's what I'm doing. 3 epic shows a week, interviewing people, hanging and banging, talking smack, giving you the good stuff, getting into a little dangerous. Sometimes we'll do the dangerous. You think I'm afraid, dude? Do you guys think I'm afraid?
I don't.
We just dropped the dangerous show just now. You guys know what I'm talking about. The dangerous.
The no ads.
The one ad. The Wise Wolf Gold and Silver. Because they're not afraid of dangerous. Right? Yeah. No matter what I do, though, no matter what I put out, I'll have somebody go, "Why are you afraid to talk about the Jews?" No matter what. And they're like, "Why don't you just say the Jews?" I go, "The Jews." And they're like, Guys, if you go to patreon.com/cashdaddies, you're going to be, look at that, dude, 1,100 people.
11.
It's just going up.
I don't get it. 1,100 people and you can't give one person to give you $1,000 to make you make whoopee.
Guys, by the way, everyone's coming up and talking mad smack about how they want to make love in front of me. We'll see, dude. I was thinking about going on BS and Broken Sim and putting together a love tournament where we decide who, and then it culminates at the big 1,000 where the winner at the big 1,000 listeners, everybody, we just all of us watch them make love.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Wait, so now they've gone from just watching me watching them to you watching them to everybody who's at a show.
No, not everybody's watching. Like all of us in a room.
The VIP. We'll have a VIP section.
You gotta pay a little extra for that.
We're gonna have a new tier on the Patreon. It's $500, and that's for if you want to watch the people who pay $1,000 while they're making love. That's what we're monetizing everything.
$20 make you holler, dude. You get big bucks, no whammies, dude. Just trust me on that. Big bucks, no whammies. You'll love it. I'll love it. We'll all love it. It's big cash. It's if you like making money, it's the best place. Most people charge for these services $200. You're paying a tenth of that. And people making money when you can make money. Sometimes the market goes crazy. You never know. You got to invest at your own risk. Guys. Chaos Twins are on fire, dude. Working on it today. Working on it today. We're working on the videos. We're working on the new issues. We're working on all that stuff. So that's that. Go to chaostwins.com. The supplements are on the t-shirts. Go t-shirts. Working on a bunch of new t-shirts here. Going to get some new t-shirts out to you. Trust me on that. Bang, bang, pow. Going to have a new, my man, we're not going to say what it is, but my good friend Xavier Guerrero is working on a brand new shirt that will only be available at live shows.
It's good. Yeah, it's good when Johnny's a little scared about it.
Yeah, Johnny's a little nervous about it for ethical reasons. And let me just say, does not involve Hitler yet. Okay. Okay. Go down gold and silver, Wise Wolf. We love them. The precious metal games, everything's getting crazy, dude. Everything's getting crazy, and Wise Wolf is a great way to hedge your bets against the fiat money. Rife Technologies, dude. All we talked about was getting your body right. Rife Technologies is all about that. And who knows how much longer he's gonna be doing this? We gotta get him back on the show to talk about it. Who knows what's going on? What is that? Extra magnet copper? I don't even know what that is, dude. Look at that, dude. We need more of these. AquaCure hydrogen brown gas. Our good friends at Harley Ray. You're looking for crystals. You're looking for candles. Go to the website. Look at this gorgeous website. Go to that website. Do you ever see a more gorgeous website? Look at the sisters. They're gorgeous. Help them be gorgeous by getting candles, by getting crystals. Look at that. You can get star crystal. Come on, man. We should put
that is nice. That is nice.
Is that pretty cool, Johnny?
I love it.
We should put it in this new studio. Dude, Joel Staley. We played it on here before. Dude, a guy lost 40 pounds on the show. 40 pounds.
I've never seen you happier, Sam. You were so happy for that.
I wanted to cry. I want to get shredded like that. I should ask him about gear. Should I get on gear? Should I be HGHing it and gear it out? Just go bald, shave my head, and just fight for humanity? EMF rocks, guys. Dirty energy. I'm telling you right now, dirty electricity will F you up. It will F you up, and there's no better place to get the bags you need to fight for better sleep than our good friends at emfrocks.com. And then finally, we got Prometheus when you're looking for... listen, dude, if you live in the dangerous, and you're talking about dangerous topics, you need a decentralized website, and there's no better place to do it than with my good friends at Prometheus, which I own a tiny piece of. And then finally... dude, if you love Xavier Guerrero's questions, how is this? You're like, wow, Xavier's so retarded, but now he's so smart. Well, that's what it is. It's our good friends at microdosing brainsupreme.co. Are you still banging them, dude?
Yeah, dude. 1 week off, 1 week on. You got to feel the difference.
Gotta feel the difference. I love that. See, he's on Brain Supreme. He knows not to go down to the illegal immigration riots. See, that's how smart he is. Guys, just go through the websites. Everything you ever wanted in your life, samtripoli.com, all the time, every time. We even got a decentralized social media. Anything else, guys?
Hit that like button, subscribe, and I just released a new vlog on XG Marks the Spot on YouTube, so go check it out, please.
Johnny.
Some people, 2 people, said that this is the greatest broken simulation that was ever recorded or released, as far as they know. So go check it out.
All right, man.
On YouTube, it's on Twitter, it's on Rumble, it's everywhere.
What's up with your Twitter? What's up with your Twitter, Johnny? No luck?
No, I haven't heard from anybody. The guy, you want to hear something funny? So I talked to a guy who said he could get my Twitter unbanned, which Sam said don't do it, of course. Then that account that was messaging me, it got banned. It's been banned for like 3 weeks. So I'm like, dude, if you can't get your own account unbanned, probably not going to pay you.
No.
To get mine unbanned.
Go to Broken Simulation Twitter. I know you're on there and here and there.
We're trying, buddy. Enjoy these highlights, guys.
Here's a clip from the latest Broken Sim.
Like I represent everything that they hate about comedy. Older, white, talk shit, doesn't believe in political correctness, and everything I talk about upsets them.
Are you afraid for the future? Can we zoom out here for a second? Because it seems like this is the dominant strand in LA, especially in the cities.
Well,
now you got
in the big
thing,
cities,
which is a different thing. But in LA, especially on the West Coast, this is the dominant brand of comedy, this thing. Are you worried about the future, or do you think it evolves and they figure out their error or their ways?
No, I don't.
So you think this becomes mainstream?
No. It already became mainstream, and now it's dying. But there will always be this group. There will always be.
You say now it's dying though, but I'm saying, do you think it will live and thrive and become like when Gen Z is our age, your age? Do you think this will be like the comedy that's Netflix wants and is everywhere and is kind of the, you know what I mean? Like, do you think?
No, I know what you're saying. I think there will always be this. As long as they're successful white people, they will have entitled children, and they will think there's rules to comedy, and they will completely and utterly, totally be hypocrites about those rules. There will be so much fine print to the rules to make them comfortable, make white progressive women comfortable. That is what political correctness is. It's to make progressive white women comfortable so they don't have to think. They don't want to think. And like I said, when I was in Chicago, like I talk about this all the time. I have no desire to work with female comics from Chicago. I just don't. Every time I've ever dealt with them, they were impossible. And did I tell this story about the time I worked with a female comic was featuring for me in Appleton? She's from Chicago. And she just was bombing, dude. Bombing. Just bombing every week, bombing every day, every show, bombing.
I'm familiar.
And because I love comedians. That's half the reason I try to be nice at, because I like comics. I want them to thrive. So I pulled her aside after she bombed like 2 shows in a row. I go, hey, listen, this crowd is in Chicago. This is like blue collar. Appleton is known for their alcoholism. Okay. This is blue collar alcoholics that, you might want to go a different angle than jumping in with, Harry Potter jokes with them. And you know what she says to me, dude? She goes, maybe I should try some racist, homophobic jokes, see if that works. I go, you should do you should burn a cross on stage. Do something. Because you're bombing. You're bombing. Figure it out. Do something relatable. Keep it simple. They're blue collar people. And then at the end of the week, you know what she does to me? Hey, can I get your number? I'm moving to LA. I would love to be able to make. I go, oh God, you're just an absolute crazy person.
Yeah, that's. What?
So I did this. Yeah. So way back in the day, I did the Comedy Bar, and at the time they had.
Where's that? I don't know. What that is.
At the time, it was in downtown Chicago.
Okay.
And they would do something where you would do stand up. The comics would do stand up, and then. The headliner would go up and do like 30 to 40, and then they would have an open mic right after it. So my first night, I go up there, I'm talking to the comics, hey, how's it going? Hope you're doing well, blah, blah, blah. I go up, I do my set, okay? So the first comic up, the first open micer is a chick I was talking to, just talking about Chicago comedy and all that. She comes up and starts ripping my act. This open micer starts ripping my act.
Naming you?
She goes, yeah, I can't believe what I watched either. That's what she was talking about. Okay. I had to sit through that too. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. And the whole time she's doing this like kind of like jiggly dance. Like she's doing like this is how she's doing all the time. Jiggling, shaking her butt. Right?
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, it's nothing. I mean,
so I go to the bartender. I go, is she talking about me? And she goes, I don't know. So I listen to her. She bombs the whole set. Gets off stage, walks by me. I go, hey, come here. And she just fucking books, bro. Just runs off. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, what was that? Like, listen, pull me aside. Go, I don't like your act. I thought that was rude. But on stage. Like I've been doing comedy forever. I will tell you all the things I did right and all the things I did wrong. Okay. I can tell you what the guys who did it right and how it worked for them and what I did wrong or what I did right to be this fucking day walker who could go hang out with the best and then walk amongst the people and just be able to live my life.
Can I ask you something now about that? Do you think, because this is something I've noticed just, outside looking in, but do you think that people in that generation, because they grew up with this roast stuff where it's kind of like how comedians...
This was kind of before the roast. This is how long ago that was.
Do you think that comedians now, they'll think that's how people in comedy are supposed to relate to each other?
No. Like, but I will tell you...
Like the girl in your DMs, though. Like, do you think that that's like...
No, it's entitlement. It's entitlement. But it's like what I've always said about women.
A lot nastier comedy.
It's what I've always said about women. And again, I love women. My mother's a woman. My girlfriend's a woman. My daughters are female. I love women. Okay. They're great. But women don't understand social structure. They have no clue. It's like why a 19-year-old girl can date Anthony Kiedis, right? And like in some weird way, they're in the same level, right? She's like, yeah, totally. I mean, this guy is like for decades one of the biggest acts in the world, and I look hot in these jeans. Let's date. And
it's like that Marcus King guy we talked about, the guitarist, the guy Marcus King who's singer guitar, and that girl just walked onto his tour bus, hot chick, and changed the music, and then now they're married, and he has her on stage with him while he's on tour. Just a random woman. Yep. She's hot.
Dude, hot chicks, laws don't apply to them. They don't follow the law. They do whatever the fuck they want because they're hot. They're so hot. There's this famous story about this hot chick. And Johnny, she is so insanely hot. And she lives in Utah. And it's a famous story about her just being the worst human being on planet Earth. Like, she obviously has borderline personality disorder. And because she's so hot, everyone lets her get off all the time. And she's literally committing felonies all the time. constantly committing felonies and going, what are you going to do? Put me in jail? What? I hot. And it's just, I hot. Laws don't apply to hot chicks. And that's why when they talk about the wall is the greatest example of like why the argument that it's hard to be a woman exists, right? Like the wall literally says, oh no, you have superpowers for a long time.
Well,
And
you
then
know what the worst thing for hot chicks is, and mugshotties has proved this, the police body cam has been devastating to hot powers of women. Because now that police, there's nothing that they know they're being watched. I guarantee you, dude, half of those chicks on mugshotties, you see them flirting with the cops. Like, what can I do to get out of this? Those women would be getting out of that 90% of the time.
Dude, that OnlyFans murderer chick in Miami, she literally like had so her tits are hanging out when she's being interviewed by the fucking guy. She's like, yeah. And dude, she murders her boyfriend and then makes content on OnlyFans.
If you'd like to hear the rest of this episode, subscribe to Broken Simulation in your podcasting app or check us out at youtube.com/SamTripoli.
We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Tinfoil hack.